Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Hey, everybody.
Good morning.
Now, listen, in today's video, we got a little bit more heat for you, but it's a different type of heat. We want to talk about having or creating Gigabucks income from live events. Okay, so this one is a bit fun. If you've ever put on an event, it'll be helpful because we're going to give you some pro tips too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as always, we're here to teach you how to create active income so you can turn it into passive income. That's our anyway money, right? The Friday's going to come, you might as well get paid anyway. The next month's going to come, you might as well get paid anyway. But to get that money that you need to create that passive income, usually you need something that is going to bring you more money up front than your job or your current business is doing for you at the time. So we talk a lot about Gigabucks income. And today, this would be a little more advanced again, right? Because we kind of have some phases that we're going through to create large chunks of money. But I've seen people bring in $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 all at once by hosting events, right? And if you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I would never want to speak in front of people. You don't have to be the speakers at events. You can have other people come and speak at your event and you're just hosting it. So, Christina, why don't you talk a little bit maybe about why you might want to host? And we're talking about a live in-person event is what we're going to talk about today.
Right. So one of the reasons why you might want to host a live event is because your time is valuable and you should be able to charge for it if you feel like what you're going to bring to the table, the content that you have is valuable, and time is limited. That's the one thing that we have that we can never get back after it's gone. So, people want the information. They're going to pay you for information, right? Why not do it in a live event setting? It actually works out pretty well for a lot of people too. And then on top of that, events are kind of fun. You actually get a chance to see the community face to face. You get a chance to see some of the people who you may have been talking to in the chats or on the Zooms, right? And you get that feel, right? You actually build a follower base, a customer base, and they like to see that interaction that you have, that is not different than what it is online. Online, she's just a different person. No, in person, you're the same. So a lot of people like to see that too, right? And then people talk about events after the events are over. They share their experiences from the events, the pictures. Like my team knows if I go out, it's a food thing. When I come back, I'm posting about the food and talking about what we did, right? And video content, especially if you're hosting an event and you have different speakers, right? People might post just a few of those as well on those social medias. And then you get exposure from their social media following to your social media following. Now, people who you wouldn't have even been in front of, you're going to actually get access to. If they're interested, they're coming over, right?
So now, are you saying that after the event, other people end up helping you brand yourself?
Brand, they help you build your brand, they support your brand. And, those were people who you initially didn't know about or couldn't get access to or just weren't in front of, right? We share things like that all the time, and we have our teams do the same thing for the additional exposure. It actually works out pretty well, right? So let's see. Another one would be, it's easy to get like instant gratification and feedback too. I know when I go to events, the people that I help inside of one of the spaces that we're in, I absolutely love being able, like having people walk up to me and thank me and then figure out why. Like that whole conversation, that 2 to 5 minute conversation is like a ball of excitement because, okay, right. What's your name from the chat? Okay, what did I help you? Oh my, and it worked, yep. Right? And you get feedback based off of the things that you've been doing. So if you need to pivot and do something differently. Your audience, when you're face-to-face, will also, they have a tendency to tell you, you know what I would love to see you do?
Right, yes.
And then you can build upon the content that you've been doing. Whatever the niche is, right? They're going to give you that type of feedback for different events. People don't expect something for free. So having a paid event, they're going to get that experience, right? They're going to be involved in that. and they want to get the value that they get. But a lot of people that in my experience feel like the live events gives them a different experience than what they get on Zooms or on the
Yeah, for
Facebook lives
sure.
and stuff like that too. So you can
It's a
actually,
different level
yeah,
of like, even if you come into an event, like Christine and I are going to a event in December together, and it'll be the first time that we actually are in person together. I know that's wild, right? But she just got back from an event, and I've got an event in 2 weeks, right? That I'm going to in Las Vegas. And so events are important, but that you go, it takes the relationships to a different level. It just does.
right. And I love it. Like you can gauge how well you've done if you're tracking how you're promoting the event, how many people it gets in front of, and then how many ticket sales you have, right? So you can gauge how to maybe promote differently on the next go round, or if there are best practices that you've done well this time that you might need to keep doing or expand upon, right? So it gives you like even better information going into your next event. Our thing this week is really just start, right?
Mm-hmm.
So start and then use the information that you get, use the feedback that you get to make everything better going forward in those little increments, though. We're not taking giant steps, but incrementally making things better works. And the feedback that you get is so important and so instrumental to a growing business, right? You want to make sure that the people you're actually marketing to actually like the information, the people you're speaking to actually want that information. And then it's a powerful networking tool with you or for you. So inside of what we do, every event that we go to, I get a chance to meet a new educator, right? And these are relationships that I get a chance to build with people who I've seen online before. And now they get to put a name with the face. I get to ask them questions, right? And that's what a lot of your audience is going to be able to do with you, right? They get a chance to say, you know what, you're not in that little box. Like the event that I just got back from, there's a guy on our team by the name of Howie. Shout out to Howie. I met him for
Howie.
the first time, right? I've known this man for years, but I've known him in this little bitty box. So the conversation that we had gave a lot of good feedback as far as, because I was helping to coordinate the event, some things that we could do differently, some things that we could do better, some things that we could make longer, right? And that type of information and that type of networking that we have is beautiful, right? If you're interested in connecting with influencers and getting people together for mastermind coaching and things like that, offer something like that at your live event, because there you already have the excitement, the momentum built for people to actually respond, right? You'll get that response. You'll see how many people are wanting to be involved, and you'll be able to have that conversation. Well, you live in this half of the country, I live over here. Let's try something online and we'll do in person this increment, right? Maybe once a year, right? But nothing beats live events as a way to meet specific types of people in one place. Okay. But let's see there are a few more little talking points, right? So live events create and reinforce culture in your community, right? Like I said earlier, some people feel like you're one way online. And in order for them to not have that, they might need to see you at a live event so that they can say, you know what, she's the same everywhere she goes. And then the culture that surrounds you, the people that you surround yourself with when you're doing those events, they can see that it's not just you. It's the circle of people that you're surrounded by that support what you're doing. They support the message that you're trying to bring to people. So that is definitely a plus for people who are creating events and things like that as well. And this is not a total list, but just a basic overview of some of the benefits that you would get from hosting a live event, some of the reasons why you might want to.
Yep. And so some pro tips, if that's okay. All right. So first of all, I will just say that live events should be just as much about the experience. So if we're used to attending a lot of events, but you're coordinating this thing, or you're paying someone to coordinate it, right? You're in charge. You're the one that's going to make some of the profits from this event, right? And by the way, whether these events that you go to, whether it's like Susie Orman and Tony Robbins getting together, or you're an MLM and the corporations, they're doing it because it's one of the most profitable business models. They make a lot of money when they host large events. So why not host a large event yourself and make the money, right? Why not, right? So the pro tip is that the experience, it's not just about the information. You should be giving good information, right? People paying a large sum to come to an event usually, okay? And you should be providing awesome information, but it's also about the experience, right? So you can think about some of the things that you could be doing at the event, if you will, because it's not just about the experience for your customers, it's about the content that they're learning, yes, but it's also about that experience. Like, so think about like what food would you serve? Would you serve food? Because these are also things that come into the cost. So you have to think about like balancing a good experience with, okay, I am doing this to be profitable, right? At the same time, right? So pro tip is people will also usually pay more to see a live show than they're going to if you're listening to you online. All right. We've got an event coming up in, I don't know, a couple weeks that I'm going to in person. And it's also being broadcast as a live event. My ticket obviously was much more than somebody paying to watch it streamed. Okay. Cause I'm going to be there in person. So remember that a lot of people will pay more because they're coming to a live event. And this does not have to do with events, but people will pay more usually sometimes if you're going to send them stuff in the mail paper wise because they feel it's tangible, right? So, that's a whole, we can talk about that on another training. I'm just going to make a mental note about if you have digital products, throwing in some things that you throw in the mail, right? So, another pro tip, live in-person events, they're not as commonplace as they used to be. Yes, we've gone through a pandemic, but it's not just that. People have gotten more and more used to doing things on Zoom and other platforms like Zoom. It's not as commonplace. When I first started in home business, very, very early on, before I was an internet marketer, meetings every Tuesday in person every single week. It wasn't that as much of a novelty to get together as it was back then. Now it's not as commonplace as it used to be. So a lot of times what people are going to see, this is your premium event, right? We've got our online weekly coaching we're doing, our mastermind groups we're doing online, but our premium event, yeah, we're getting together in Orlando, we're getting together in Vegas or wherever, right? I always laugh because like we're in the Milwaukee area and Christina's in Detroit. Now nobody want to come up here for the next 6 months for an event. We'll be going south, right? So like you don't always want to be hosting it in your hometown if it's not a great place for people to fly into, right? So you're going to have probably fewer competitors in this day and age by doing in-person events. I know a guy that he doesn't even market online. And he does crazy huge in-person events, and he doesn't even do it. You won't even find him on the internet other than some of his ads, right? So because it's like it feels like a novelty, like who's doing these large events, right? Especially with the pandemic and stuff. So you can have fewer competitors if you're doing live events. So there's that opportunity, right? There are more risks to hosting a conference, and there's costs. And with the pandemic, you can have cancellations because maybe somebody has been exposed or they're not comfortable getting on the plane or they don't want to come to the event at all because they're still afraid to go out in public or whatever it is. But those are also barriers that are stopping your competitors from doing the events. So you can kind of push through that and stick out and stand out. Another pro tip, you really want to, if you've never done anything like this before, and some of us have hosted events, some of us have been to events, some of us have participated in facilitating the event, but if you've never been the one, it's your event. Take a class, right? Or get some coaching. I think there's a theme here on how to organize and host live events because again, they have costs associated with them. So you want to learn how to make an event very successful for the attendees, but also profitable for you because you'd be like, but I want to do this and this and this and this. And all of a sudden there's no profit left, right? And also you want to figure that stuff out before you decide how much your ticket sales are going to be.
Right.
Because you're bringing all these things in and maybe you're going to have, it's 100, limited to 100 people. Maybe you need to charge 2,500, but after you do your expenses, it needs to be 3,000 for the weekend because you're looking at all the thing, you're bringing in a band and you're doing this, right? So take a class, get some coaching, something on how to organize events. So we covered a ridiculous amount of information this week. Okay. Most of it was advanced, but I just wanted to give you guys, when I was thinking, let's do this week, I said to Christina, let's do this week. The possibilities. I just want to expand your way of thinking because our mentor said something the other night that we're not traders, we're not investors, we're not MLMers, we're entrepreneurs, right? So it's like, don't get stuck into a little box thinking this is the, I'm in a home-based business. This is all I can do is this. I'm an investor. All I can do is this, right? I make, flower baskets is all I can do, right? So what we talked about this week was, first of all, just learn the marketing like that, focus on finding some other people's products, informational, digital products. You could sell other people's coaching. It needs to be something you feel good about to learn how to get those $500,000, $1,500, $5,000, $10,000 profit sales before you try to also dive into doing all the rest of the stuff we talked this week with your own products. Because you're like, but I have an idea. I love, and I'm coming back to the cake analogy. Everyone keeps saying you should start your own business with your cake icing and your baking, and start by doing other people's products just so you can learn the marketing, because it won't matter how good you are at what you do if you don't have a good way to get the word out, right? Then you want to, if you want to go more advanced, some people never do any of this other stuff. They don't ever do any of their own products. They're like, I love selling other people's products. I don't want to do all this other stuff. Cool. But if you want to expand on what you're already doing, you can build multiple income streams from the same genre of things that you're used to. Now you can do one-on-one coaching or group coaching and charge for that. Once you get feedback from them, you're going to know like what is it that all the questions they asked and the stuff that they want to know about, so you can now create a digital product. You can sell that, right? And why didn't we do it in the other order? I just want to remind you, if we try to do digital recordings first and sell them, we don't know what the customer actually wants or needs.
Right.
By doing some live coaching first, you're going to get that feedback. Just because we know something, we think other people should know it. Maybe they didn't care about that, right? You thought that was important, and they're like, nah, I already knew that. Like, I don't need to hear this for an hour on this one topic. So you get that feedback. And then once you have some community, events are great, right? And you can make an event, your primary product as well. So I'm not saying that don't get stuck in a box, that this is a certain order, but when you have a community, the event Christina and I go to or went to, she went to last week. I'm going to one this week, 2 weeks. And then we have another one we're going to together. Those are 3 separate communities that we're already in.
Right.
And so we're going to these things, and it just, like she said, reinforces the culture, gives you opportunity to network with people, take certain relationships to the next level. And when you host an event and you bring people in from your community, they're all talking the same language. You can use some of your lingo.
Yep.
Because, we all have lingo in our communities that other people will listen to and go, I don't know what the heck they're talking about. It's like, look, we got our own little language over here, right? So we're talking in code. So if you've missed any of the sessions, that's the order that I recommend, is other people's products first, one-on-one or group coaching second, digital products or evergreen content third. And then if you want to graduate into larger events, especially within your community, by all means. But there is no right or wrong way. It's just our recommendation of getting that marketing down and learning how to, get traffic to places and stuff. And why not get those large checks while you're doing it? So Christina, why don't you tell them how they can learn and start? And you can actually learn about all the things we covered this week in this area that she's going to talk about, right? So I'll turn it back to her.
So as you know, we highly recommend learning how to do simple marketing for other people's products first. And we want you to learn the same way that we did, by giving you access to our Millionaire Mentor. Now, it's a 15-day challenge. So 2 weeks, right? Every day for 15 days, you're going to learn a new topic, right? You're going to be able to take another step closer to starting your own digital business. So if you want to go ahead and do that, because you do, that's why you're still here, right? Go to thepipsisters.com/GBI for Gigabucks income. Just make sure the GBI is lowercase because it's case sensitive, right? But go over to the website. Sign up for that 15-day challenge. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know that you've gotten started and let us know if you have any questions along the way, right? And I know you're like, Christy, listen, what's the price? It's $7. Okay, $7. So that's less than 50 cents per lesson that you're going to get when you get access to this 15-day challenge. And then at the end of the program, you're going to have knowledge to start your own online business and know the necessary information to build a foundation of successful Gigabucks earning. Okay, so go over to thepipsisters.com/GBI for Gigabucks income and let us know that you've gotten started. We want to see like how your experience is and maybe compare notes, right?
That is our theme this week. Just start. And
Right.
we're giving you the place that we started at, and it's worth way more than $7. Every time you do that this week, I have to laugh because you're talking about the entire blueprint of an online multimillionaire in 15 days. You will know it. It will give you it's a good word, the foundation, right? We all have to build the foundation first. Then we can learn how to do all these other things and build upon it. But you need that foundation. And for less than 50 cents a lesson, come on, right?
Right. Like you can't buy anything at the gas station for 50 cents now.
No, you can't even get anything for 50 cents.
Right. No, can't. Everything's like 59 cents. So think about like your favorite candy. Just don't buy it for a couple days, you know?
Right.
just one.
Yeah.
Now, me and my candy bars, different story. But that is going to wrap us up for like today. If you are enjoying the content, go ahead, let us know if there's something that you would like for us to touch on as an entrepreneur. Maybe you're already in the space. Let us know. We're happy to create content and share our experiences that we've had with you, especially if that information is going to be able to help other people. So also share this information with your friends and family, those people who you know are starting businesses or maybe started a business, but they got off to a rocky start, right? Go ahead and share the content because we'd love to help them too. Okay. But that is going to wrap us up for today. Christy, did you have any closing thoughts?
I just had a lot of fun this week talking about this particular topic. This is one of those, this isn't the only place, but there are so many different things, including what we do here with our Gigabucks income, right? That it doesn't have to take an exorbitant amount of money to get started. If you think about a franchise, you want to get into buying a McDonald's franchise, you're going to drop between $1 million and $5 million. And then it's going to take you at least 5 years to be successful. And sometimes I do think, even like if you get and say you pay 10 grand for coaching and you're like, that seems like a lot of money. It is to some, so I get that. But also I want you to think about the big grand scheme of things. That is nothing compared to what it takes people to open up a Domino's or an Olive Garden, or it's like a drop in the bucket, right?
Right.
But I do sometimes think the lower barriers, and I'm going to say 10,000 and under, from $7 to 10 grand. Sometimes it's like, well, I don't really want it. I don't feel like doing the work. I only spent $50. And even for some people, it's like, well, I'm just going to write that 10 grand off and I'm going to complain about that I wasted 10 grand and I'm never doing that again. But it's still enough money that some people just use it. So they quit because it's not that much of a risk. Okay.
Right.
So I do want to say that, is like, people say, what's the negative of home business? The negative is that because it's a positive and a negative. You can have a small money to start, but you have to remember, if you bought that McDonald's franchise for $5 million, I swear to God, you've been working your butt off making sure that thing freaking worked because of the money you spent, right? So that's also why I think we have less complaints and almost non-existent from higher ticket people, because they've spent more money and they're more dedicated to doing the work than someone. So even though it's $7, I want you to think about, when you're going through that, don't think of it as, I only spent $7. I don't think I want to do the challenge now, even though I spent the money. Because, oh, well, I'm going to throw that $7 away. Big whoop. Do the 15 days. I mean, so yes, it's $7, but do the 15 days. Like, that's What are those classes, like less than an hour?
Yeah. Yep. And they give you actionable steps to take. They give you walkthroughs of some of the actual websites and things like that that they use to build and to promote the business. So that $7 is giving you just from one of those videos, like you could pay $7 from just the intro video, just explaining
That's
what
true.
it is. Right. So when you go into things like this, you guys will hear this theme over what we've been doing so far. If you are on that entrepreneurial journey, the journey is wonderful if you're willing to do the work.
Mhm.
And what we're doing is trying to help you get the structure that you need, get that blueprint that you need to move and go forward and grow in the process, as opposed to just like us, our first time like being entrepreneurs, we had to figure a lot of stuff out,
Mhm.
right? We want you to live vicariously through our mistakes. That's why we're sharing so much. That's why we're being so open with you guys as well, because we don't want you to have those headaches. And we're giving you the same tools that we found over time that have helped us become profitable,
Mhm.
right? That have helped us cut through that learning curve and gave us the extra. Everybody's always like, what's the one thing? Well, the one thing is to like schedule your time out, be dedicated and honest with yourself, make sure that you have structure, find coaching, right? Find tools that can help you get ahead. And we're giving you all of that information because there is no one quick fix. It's one blueprint.
The quick fix is actually you.
Right.
Right. I mean,
right.
I was on a Zoom yesterday, and you probably noticed our thing. We spent a lot of time with our mentors, right? And I was on with another mentor of mine yesterday, and you know, I have to share this, right? Because I had to chuckle when I heard it, but it's not actually that funny. It's funny, like, I heard that one before, like that, like, yes, I've heard this. But he was talking about how people will say things like, well, I guess that's not, I guess that just wasn't, it's not for me. And he's like, no, you're not special.
You're not that special.
It
wasn't just you that was pointed out.
Well, he's like, it worked for 4,000 other people. So yeah, it will work for you. You're not special.
Right. It works for you if you work.
Right. That was the whole point of the thing. If you do the work, it will work no matter what, whether it's something Christy and I are talking about or something else that you're looking at. It's putting the work in and sticking to it until it works, making course corrections and things like that. But I just thought it was funny. He's like, this isn't for me. No,
I love that.
You're not special.
Even like our $1 business, it takes 2 hours to make the paper book reefs. If you stop halfway through, your $1 is now wasted. And then that 1 hour of time plus the amount of stores that you may have had to drive to, because I think I drove to like 3, right? That time you don't get back. So some stuff you kind of should see it through to the end to see what your results are going to be, to see if you would like to do it again, right? And that's the thing that I love about the 15-day challenge. It actually gives you, like I said, actionable steps to take. It gives you work to do. And there's some extra special things that are thrown in there along the way that I'm not going to mention. You need to find out by doing the 15-day challenge, right? But it gives you so much more than what you actually pay for. And I love that about the challenge. We want you to have the blueprint to be successful. We want to share with you what we are doing to see our success. So just do it, right?
So that was a long closing thoughts of mine, but you're not special. Just do the work. You are special, though. We think you're special.
We think you're special when you do the work or when you ask for help.
That's right.
Because I know, like, I got stuck a couple times and I'm Christy, hi, help,
Right.
So if you get stuck, don't be afraid to reach out for help too. We are here to help you. There's an entire community full of people that we're actually trying to plug you into. Okay. But we're here to make sure that it's enough money out there in the world for everybody to be successful as long as they're willing to do the work and make it legal, moral, and ethical. Okay.
That's right. Exactly. Thanks for putting that plug in, just in case you were wondering. It's always about legal, moral, and ethical. I am always willing to do whatever it takes to never go back to a job. And I always say, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical.
Those are the 3 rules.
That's right.
Yep. So. But that is going to wrap us up here, you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome and productive day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye, everybody.